Well, as we know, there's a bit more of a microscope on FC25 since the EA report, and really EA in general, from the general gaming community in general. And with that, today brought a news story that was kind of interesting, but also kind of was a nothing burger at the same time, but we'll talk about it. And FC25 content right now, it's definitely something. I will say that. We got this Evo today. There's that Evo SBC that was crazy expensive, actually. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. And we're going to get into all of it because it's, I mean, it's definitely worthy of discussion right now, exactly what's going on. But okay, I also want to say in this video, as you guys know, I feel like I have to do something because I said I was going to streak if I got Thierry Henry, and I'm not going to streak, all right? Unfortunately, as much as I think my cheeks would probably make for some great content out there, I don't think I should do it. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is one of two things. I feel like I owe my loyal audience something. What I'm going to do is either, one, I'm going to pick a night where I'm home alone, turn all the lights off, and play a horror game for like 2 hours, and just upload it like raw onto my second channel. Or the second option, which I've also thrown out there in the past, is I'm going to eat a stick of butter. That is, I'm going to do one of those two things. I'm either going to shit my pants or eat a stick of butter. There's a poll down below. Go and vote on that. But yeah, okay. Let's just get into like the content stuff right now, because FUT Birthday, I really don't know how to feel about it. It's really not actually been that great, apart from just a few things. This 5-star baller Evo came out, and it's hard to complain too much about any Evo that drops that gives any card you want to a 5-star 5-star. Except it's not really any card you want to. It's 89 and below still, like the whole season has been. You know, we got Evos from how long ago now? I want to say a month and a half ago, at least. I mean, yeah, I think it was pre-team of the year, so it might be 2 months ago now. We were getting 89 rated capped playstyle Evos or skill move and weak foot Evos, and we're getting that in March now, 2 months later. And it's worth 2 86s, one with the team of the week squad, and an 87 squad. So you might have a card in here that you are gonna really love to put in this. And honestly, I feel like they partly made it so expensive simply because if we go through and look at this max 89 Evo here on like the cards that I have, they know that, where's my Nkunku right here? They know these cards exist, right? 95 pace, 99 dribbling, 93 shot, right? And now this card can get 5-star 5-star in that other Evo. So I think that was partly why this last chain they've been doing was like they thought about that in this whole thing. But there's been so many Evos that go to 90, right? Pretty much all Evos right now in the Evo section go to 90 overall. And when will we be able to actually use those cards in Evos? You know, it's definitely, I don't want to complain too much because I think it can be very good, but for some people out there, I'd argue even for like the majority of people, it's actually not as good as it should be. And I think the idea for sure is definitely cool. I want to see more of these. I just think this one is priced poorly, if that makes sense. Because I'd rather them drop the Evos here rather than just straight up in the evolution section, because that's going to cost coins or FC points. Here, you can just decide if you want to put in some fodder or not. And if you don't have fodder, it'll cost you coins regardless. But if you do have fodder, then it's not going to cost you as much in raw coins, right? So I don't want to like hate on the idea fully here. By the way, I'm going to open an icon pick in this video. Just want to throw that out there too. So stick around for that. But yeah, it's not all bad. It's just like we're getting so much stuff like that feels like EA are just holding back slightly. And now we are getting every single Evo be paid right now. I mean, they're all paid. This new one, you know, only 35,000 coins, 200 FC points. It's very cheap, but it's just paid once again. And just chipping away slowly at your coin balance if you want to do all these Evos. Of course, no one's making you, but it's just a worrying trend if they're going to drop 75 to 80% paid Evos at this point. And this is just the future of Ultimate Team now. That's something to think about, that we shouldn't just spread our legs and accept, to be honest with you. If they make them good, though, it's hard to really complain too much, but they're making everyone, even if they're not very good, paid at this point. But combining all of this with the kind of more lackluster than we expected content, that also blew this story we'll talk about in just a couple minutes here kind of out of proportion a little bit, because people are disappointed right now with content, and then they're kind of like latching onto this story. But I do want to give a shout out to Danny DaCosta quick, because there's no way this card's not good. He goes into the, I think it's the Sala Evo, right? Whatever that's called. He's got Bruiser for a right back. He's physical. He's tall. He's got rolls as well. This card, I can guarantee you, actually, is going to be good. I think there's honestly no way it's not. But okay, you know, content, what do you guys think right now? But okay, with the, you know, quote unquote lackluster content that we're getting right now, you might not feel that way, keep in mind, but but the people who were talking about this story today, it was a perfect thing to kind of get into, and that was this. EA Sports FC 25 drops to lowest ever price across multiple platforms. Now, this is a Game Rant article, and you might be thinking to yourself, like, okay, this price drop must be huge and like out of the ordinary, right? If it's worthy of literally a news story, and we'll get into that in just one sec. Basically, it's received a 70% price cut, dropping to its lowest ever price on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox, all platforms. It's 40% less than what it was during Black Friday, $7 cheaper than its prior best price. Switch version on sale, right? They say here it's about $20. The ongoing sale has different start dates, yada, 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 right? Okay, we get it's on sale. But then, like, what was the sort of like kicker here? Why is it such a news story? Well, it turns out there's not really any reason it's a news story. Looking at its historical pricing data, EAFC 25 has been dropping in price roughly as fast as its predecessor. So it's literally dropping price at about the same rate as last year's game was. So it's not actually any different to that. And you would assume, okay, because there's more articles than just this one about this, like, okay, it's dropping lower than it usually does, and that's kind of a sign that maybe there's a decline in players, right? Actually, not really. It goes on sale right around this time, and it's usually right around this price at this time every year. But the reason it's a news story is because this headline sounds good considering all of the stories over the last 2 months related to EA and FC 25 and how it had, a lackluster release, basically. And it absolutely did. I'm not sticking up for EA here in that sense. I'm just saying that this is more so a kind of a nothing burger story if it's not anything different than previous sales in previous years. And the article highlights that, saying like, its overall player spending has been much worse, leading EA to lose $6 billion in market capitalization. That's the reason this story basically was being told. So it's really not much. And actually, he even says here, the PC port appears to be doing particularly well right now, with Steam currently listing it as its 4th top seller behind Split Fiction, Monster Hunter Wilds, and Repo. So it's like the top 5 selling games on Steam right now. But then with that news story, combining with like leaks we got today that we'll go and look at right now, we got some confirmed stats and some cards. Alexandra Pop's confirmed stats now, and they look, they're fine. 87 pace, 88 dribbling, finesse plus, aerial plus on a fucking 5'8 player is like, okay. Another SBC I'm happy to miss this year has had the least appealing SBCs I've ever seen. The majority of them are either cheap and not good in game or wildly overpriced. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about that take? Do you agree or disagree with that one? And then we got Paulo Futre's stats, which if we zoom in on Futre here, he's got technical plus and then trickster plus again, another trickster plus card, and 95 pace, 95 dribbling. That's great. 84 shot, 83 passing, and the play styles, well, they haven't been too great recently on these FUT Birthday cards. So we're looking at now for the rest of this week, and we'll see what that flashback teaser was, that something could be messy, right? That's the rumor out there. We have no idea, but that's the rumor. If it ends up not being messy, what SBCs do we really got that are very exciting so far that are leaked? We got the Mbappes, the Pop, the Futre, the Pope, the DaCosta we just got, the Gakpo showdown and Murphy showdown. Maybe that's gonna be the best ones here. They seem like they're all 5-star, 5-star. DaCosta is 5-star, 5-star. So I don't know. Is this sort of a, we're just looking at things negatively, so now we're gonna start nitpicking, or is it like valid criticism? Like, hey, this actually isn't that great. They seem to be quite underwhelming. And then AC does tease again here, leak the next big SBC. AC says Team 2 on Friday, and everyone says Messi flashback, because Ronaldo just got one. I hope so. I mean, I really hope so, but we'll have to wait and see. And also, there has been some real fishy stuff with some Evo leaks. Now that FUT Yapper exists, who seems to be really leaking a bunch of like good information a couple hours before content. If you go on Twitter and find the guy, I can show you who he is. I mean, you've seen him before, but if you're new around here, you might not know who he is. But Detective FUT saying Yapper waiting for Discords to ping, and then he says yes. And I'll tweet stuff out like half an hour before content time saying also, besides that Evo, that Silver Evo, another good SBC. So he knew that the Evo SBC was dropping today. So I don't know how somebody can just come onto the scene and know all this shit. Like, I'm always perplexed by that. Like, does he know somebody that works for EA, or that knows somebody who works for EA? Like, how does he get this information just out of nowhere? Apparently no leaks besides the pack code are done from data mining. That's what people have said, which just makes things even stranger to me. I'm not sure, but okay. And also the League On Player of the Month. We've been thinking about a Dembele possibly for like 2+ weeks at this point. It was Hakimi, Dembele, and Guiri. Unfortunately for some of you out there, the winner was Guiri, so it is not going to be a PSG player. So there you go. There's Hakimi down here. Unfortunately, finally is dusted. But then even with the messy news, AC does say here, this was yesterday, keep in mind, this was not today, so this might just be talking about for the next few days here. Respond to somebody who said, mid, are we getting something big again soon? AC says, not really. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that just means until next team 2, or if that means the entirety of FUT Birthday, but people are hyping up the Friday SBC, and watch it be just something that like nobody gives a shit about. After we've had people hyping up a flashback Messi and he just doesn't drop, but I don't even know at this point. Hey, the Roma trio is coming out over the next team 2, so that's cool, right? If you were around, if you're old like I am, then it's probably cool for you guys. If you're a new player to FIFA, you're gonna be like, who the fuck are these guys? You're not gonna care at all. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, of course. And I think that's kind of all for the news. We talked about the market a good amount yesterday. Let's just read your comments. Let's read a couple more than usual. I saw this comment from Fu here. It says, finally finished CR7. I just know he's gonna be good. Has he been good for you guys? I think some of you said yesterday that he wasn't, and some of you said he was. It's pretty 50-50. So let me know if you've liked him and he was good in bad gameplay as well. And there was this comment here that's really kind of sums up a lot of people's situations right now. So graphic jujitsu, I want to say, I've been in a weird spot for a while where none of the evos are good enough to make my squad, and despite having 1.5 million coins, I can't really upgrade by buying cards either. I wouldn't mind paying coins for an evo if it was good enough to upgrade a player on my squad, so for me this promo isn't really doing anything. And this part right here where you have that 1.5 mil and that can't really even upgrade anybody in your team, is exactly what EA want. We've talked about this before on the channel if you've been around for a while, but EA like having you be able to get to that 95% team actually pretty quickly. Evolutions can get you there, just a few coins can get you there, but then upgrading from that is like extremely difficult. For me right now, my team, I have 3 point something mil that I'm just like liquid in right now, and even for me it's hard to upgrade my team because I really can upgrade through like my midfield. I can get team of the year cards, but like Bonmati, Rodri, Puteas. On PC, those cards are 4 mil plus, so I'm close, but I can't upgrade my team with 3 mil in the midfield, which is pretty crazy. And there's some other spots where I probably could for that coin price, but most people don't have 3 million coins or 4 million coins to just like fall back on. So EA want you in this sort of like Goldilocks zone, good enough team, interesting enough to keep you playing, but also not good enough to have you stop playing or not contemplate buying FC points. That's like that perfect Goldilocks zone for them that you're in right now. But the issue with that is you end up with a case where like, hey, the promo actually not really doing much of anything for me right now because I can't really do much with my team. Anton Gregory says, I think Immortals promo will feature icons who have passed away in real life and Franz Beckenbauer will be the featured card. That definitely could be. So I feel like Beckenbauer probably comes in at some point still over the next like month or so. I do think so. We got Radislav who says there's also a World Cup that they don't have the rights to now and possible launch of the new FIFA game, which is an interesting thought. I do wonder if they could negotiate the license still. I don't know if it's like a permanent, like we don't want to work with them anymore at all, but you're right, it is interesting that we could potentially not have it be licensed in FC, which we haven't seen, I think, since when? 2014 or 2018? I don't remember which one it was that wasn't licensed really that much. I think it was 2014 that wasn't like fully licensed. Anyway, that's like, well, it will be a 12-year gap, right? So it's kind of an interesting thought as to what they will do if they don't have the rights for the World Cup. They can still make special cards and promos around the World Cup, but they have to kind of like do some things that they wouldn't have normally had to do, right? They kind of got to skirt around the licensing. And then possible launch of a new FIFA game. This has been rumored for a long time. There's 2K employees rumored to be working on a new FIFA title that 2K is making. That's kind of gone cold in the last few months, I would say. I feel like we would still hear murmurs of that. Over last summer, it became really rumored to the point where it was like, okay, this is probably happening, but it's gone cold a little bit recently. I'm curious to see if that picks back up again, or maybe it's just not happening anymore, right? I'm curious as to hear this summer what happens. And Illini says, EA killing the game because of a slow power curve. My team is still the same from Team of the Year week because the content and players were clearly insane. Now players will leave again due to boredom of same team. And this is kind of the back and forth EA have to deal with, right? Last year, or the past couple years has been, this is going too fast. I can't keep up. Please slow down. Now it's going too slow. We're bored. So it is hard to find that balance. I totally agree that there does need to be that balance and EA does need to find it. It's not trying to like cut them some slack here. I guess I slightly am, but also I do think they're probably listening to us more so and slowing it down slightly. I think most people said, hey, can we slow it down a little bit? And I feel like they probably have done that so far this year. I think stats wise, like card stats wise, no, but play styles wise, is yes. And I think EA know now that play styles are the most important thing because, you know, for example, we have cards with quite a few better stats in this FUT Birthday promo, right? Like 90s and midfielders, like almost all 90 stats. However, the play style's not that great, and that's kind of what separates it. It makes the power curve a bit slower. So yeah, what is that balance? I think EA are trying to figure that out right now. And I think they're going to keep a very close eye on the player count and kind of judge it from that. If players start to leave again in droves, they're going to say, okay, let's drop some big shit. And if they're kind of keeping a consistent, decent player count, which they kind of have been for the past, you know, couple of months or so, they're like, okay, let's slow it down and kind of drag it out a bit because they asked for that last year, and also it's kind of smart for us. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like how it's a little bit slower this year? Do you think it's actually still too fast? Do you think it's too slow? But okay, here's the icon pick. Let's see if we can stay hot and go back to back here. But yeah, don't forget to vote in the poll down below to see what way I suffer. But yeah, okay, let's reveal one by one here. No more base icons, of course, in these. The very first one is 90 Puyol. Okay, that's not great. Second one is 88 Gattuso, and okay, on to the third one, and it's okay. That's actually not that bad. I know Beckham isn't that expensive. I think at this point, probably a couple $100K, honestly, right? Yeah, 330. That could be worse of a card, you know. I'd say he has Evo potential, but he's 91 rated, so like kind of not at the same time. But okay, it's still it's a lowercase L, I feel like. But hey, thank you all for being here. Appreciate you so much. I love you all. Peace.